The year is 895 AD in the North Atlantic. Lord Orvandil and his jerk sibling Fjolnir got back to their realm. With chests brimming with wealth after his abroad victories, Orvandil reunites with his better half Gudrun and his child Amleth, who is gifted a unique neckband that Orvandil took from a ruler he killed. Fjolnir additionally reunites with his child Thur. However, his temperament rapidly gets acrid when the court jester Hymir ridicules him. After the meal, Orvandil invests a little energy with Gudrun and shows her where he's been injured. Gudrun stresses. In any case, Orvandil tells her he'll be fine until further notice since he doesn't want to bite the dust like an invalid. He'll kick the bucket with honor in battle. He concedes, notwithstanding, that he ought to prepare Amleth on the off chance that the most obviously awful occurs. Sometime thereafter, Orvandil takes Amleth with him to the sanctuary so the kid can go through an otherworldly service to formally turn into a man. All supervised by Hymir. Father and child channel their internal wolves and Amleth is honored with the information on the clan, for which he should pledge to live with honor, and vindicate his dad assuming he at any point tumbles to the foe's hands. The beverage Hymir gives Amleth makes him see a progression of pipe dreams. Also, when he contacts his dad's injury, Amleth will observe the whole genealogy. The two of them leave the sanctuary in the first part of the day and are trapped by a gathering of covered champions on ponies. Amleth needs to help. However, Orvandil advises him to take off, and the youngster takes cover behind a stone to see how his dad is hit by different bolts. The head of the gathering then, at that point, takes his veil off. Also, uncovers to be Fjolnir, who continues to kill his sibling to have his spot as ruler. Subsequently, he sends his warriors to find Amleth, who takes off further into the timberland. He's unexpectedly found by Finner. However, Amleth figures out how to remove his nose with a blade prior to pushing him off and getting away. A couple of seconds after the fact, Amleth successfully returns to his town, where warriors are killing anybody that actually upholds Orvandil, and Fjolnir is seizing a shouting Gudrun. Finner would rather not concede he lost to a youngster, so he tells Fjolnir that Amleth is dead and his body was tossed into the ocean. Having sufficiently seen, Amleth goes to the coast and takes a boat as he swears to one day retaliate for his dad and save his mom. Numerous years pass, and presently a grown-up Amleth lives in the place that is known for the Russ as a berserker with a clan of Vikings. He's passed on his ruler life to turn into a fearsome hero that assists his band with striking towns, kill their warriors, guarantee the ladies, furthermore, accumulate youngsters to be sold as slaves. After the effective attack of Gardariki, Amleth abandons the festivals to go for a stroll and runs over a sanctuary with a seeress inside. This seeress helps Amleth to remember his vengeance pledge and predicts he'll be successful. In any case, for that to occur, he should go to the place that is known for the north where Fjolnir at present lives. He should likewise follow a lady to look for a destined sword that will match his fury. The seeress vanishes later, explaining that she's just aiding him, since his way is interlaced with a lady lord. The following morning, Amleth hears the slaves they've caught will be shipped off Iceland to work for Fjolnir and takes the risk to assemble some data about his uncle. It turns out he escaped to the backwater with his family after the ruler of Norway took his realm, so he killed his sibling for no good reason. At that second, Amleth sees a raven, and recollecting his dad used to be known as the Raven Ruler, he accepts it as a sign. Thinking of an arrangement as simple, Amleth trims his hair, conceals his jewelry, takes some unique garments from a body, and brands his chest with the slave mark, previously sneaking on board the boat that will take the captives to Iceland. There, he meets Olga, who cases to be a sorceress. She realizes Amleth is really a Northman, yet she actually treats him sympathetic. Also, even solaces him when around evening time his fantasies are spooky by dreams of the past. What's in store? What's more, Olga herself. The boat is shaken by a tempest on the way. However, the party actually figures out how to make securely to Iceland. They're gotten up shore by Finner, who places every one of the slaves in chains, furthermore, guides them to Fjolnir's ranch, where he resides with a now grown-up Thur and his subsequent child, the youthful Gunnar. Fjolnir isn't dazzled by how feeble these slaves look and needs to send them away, so Amleth stirs things up around town close to him to flaunt his solidarity and presents himself with a phony name. Fjolnir chooses to keep him, and he likewise picks 2 people for the fields and a few servants for his spouse. Checking out Olga, on his most memorable night at the homestead, Amleth escapes to attempt to take a blade, yet gets diverted when he sees a lady on the field very much like the seeress had anticipated, and that implies he's on the correct way. The following day, Amleth cooperates and tries sincerely as a slave, which offers him the chance to enter Fjolnir's home and make a stunning disclosure. Gudrun is there, fit as a fiddle. She was the one to bring forth Gunnar as Fjolnir's new spouse. A short time later, Olga minds him to check whether he's assembled data. Furthermore, when fighters see her out of her station, they come to take her away. Just before they show up, Olga requests that Amleth come searching for her, assuming he at any point loses her. When sun sets, Amleth follows the lady and finds a he-witch inside a cavern. This man quickly perceives Amleth and shows him he's kept Hymir's head since Fjolnir killed him. Through an extraordinary custom, the he witch gathers Hymir's soul and gets the head to talk straightforwardly into Amleth's brain to let him know the story of the amazing blade Draugr, which must be unsheathed during the evening. To find it, Amleth should visit the blade's proprietor, the hill inhabitant, and make certain to trust the evening glow. The he witch additionally offers Amleth one final prediction. One day he'll need to pick either generosity for his family or disdain for his adversaries. Then, Amleth enters a hill and finds the body of the inhabitant, who is sitting with the blade on his lap. When Amleth attempts to take the sword, the tenant rises and shines and starts going after him. So Amleth should guard himself with any rubbish he can find around him. At the point when the occupant strolls around the beam of twilight that falls through the hill's entry, Amleth recalls the he witch's words and pushes the body under the light. The inhabitant freezes and allows Amleth the opportunity to kill him. However, when he pivots, Amleth winds up back toward the starting in front of the sitting man. This time, when he attempts to take the blade, he recovers it without issues. Amleth gets back to the ranch and is seen by Fjolnir's canine, who starts woofing. To make him shut up, Amleth snarls at him, getting Fjolnir to excuse the yelping as immaterial and to miss Amleth. Then, Fjolnir goes searching for Olga to go through the night with her. However, Olga shows him it's her period. It isn't accessible to mean she. She additionally attempts to go after Fjolnir, yet he just effectively shoves her to the side and orders the head housekeeper to show Olga a few habits prior to leaving. Amleth sees this from his concealing spot and believes it's the ideal second to assault. However, the sun is rising and he can't unsheath the sword, so he conceals it until the perfect opportunity comes. The following day, Amleth informs Olga concerning the sword, and she consents to help since she needs her opportunity as well. She approaches the kitchen, however Amleth makes a point to explain something. He means to save his mom too. Gudrun is simply one more casualty, and she cooperates with Fjolnir's wants for her well-being and Gunnar's. Subsequently, Fjolnir takes his family and a chose gathering of captives to meet with the clan leader and his kin for a match of Nataleaker. The game comprises of 2 groups of 5 champions that fill battle about a ball to score. What's more, killing is permitted. Amleth is picked for Fjolnir's group and ends up in a fierce game where gradually every player kicks the bucket. Towards the end, just Amleth and one exceptionally huge rival are left. Fjolnir's group is losing and that makes Gunnar frantic, so he attempts to take the ball to score also, is gone after by the contrary group's player. Gunnar is taken out, yet before he winds up dead, Amleth bounces with all due respect and kills his rival. Later during the festivals, Thur approaches Amleth to praise him for his dependability and boldness. As a prize, from here on out, Amleth will have honors at the ranch. He'll work less, order different slaves, and be permitted to pick a person for himself. Thur lets him know he's even permitted to pick Olga on the grounds that Fjolnir has abandoned her and her disposition. Amleth doesn't consider it 2 times and looks for Olga. Then, at that point, brings her profoundly into the woods so they can get going without any other person watching. Whenever they're finished, Olga utilizes her capacities to converse with Mother Soil and request her assurance. They likewise discover a few extraordinary mushrooms that will assist them with their arrangement for retribution, which will at long last beginning when they return to the ranch. The following day is spent working ordinarily, yet at the point when sun sets, Amleth ambushes 2 of Gunnar's buddies and kills them. With their body parts, he makes a center structure and passes on it to be tracked down by the Forerunners in the first part of the day. Gunnar is clearly angry when he sees it and swears retribution on the Christians, accepting it was them that did this. However, Fjolnir is suspicious. The ranch's priestess really takes a look at the bodies and illuminates everybody that the injuries aren't from this world. Whoever did this, it's ravenous for more and will go after in the future. Later around evening time, while the priestess readies a young lady to be forfeited to the divine beings for insurance, Amleth incites every one of the creatures nearby into yapping and crying. This makes Fjolnir's canine frantic and makes him assault his lord, so Fjolnir needs to kill him in self-preservation. While everybody is diverted by the creatures, Amleth enters the sanctuary, liberates the young lady, ties up the priestess all things being equal, and kills the cleric prior to balancing him at the special stepped area. The next day, while Amleth covertly adds the mushrooms to the stew, the male slaves are given a new task. They will shield the ranch from any approaching assault. At night, Fjolnir's men start daydreaming, which makes them assault one another or even themselves. In the wake of conversing with Olga to settle on a gathering spot at sunrise, Amleth sneaks inside the fundamental house and shocks his mother by uncovering his personality. Gudrun is glad to see him alive, however she has stunning news for him. She needn't bother with being protected. Orvandil had deceived Amleth when he told stories of his sentiment with his significant other. Gudrun had really been a slave that the Lord took forcibly. She never adored him or grieved him. As a matter of fact, she was the one that asked Fjolnir to kill him. The day of the selling out, she wasn't shouting. She had been joyfully snickering on the grounds that she at long last was with the man she really cared about. Amleth's beginning to figure he ought to kill Gudrun also. However, she advises him that he's a man loaded with adoration for his mom and his siblings. Assuming he kills Fjolnir and Thur, Gudrun would acknowledge Amleth as her new lord and they could run together. She goes similar to kissing her own child. However, Amleth doesn't get bulldozed and abandons her to find Thurer, who he kills on his bed. Then he meets with Olga to let him know he'll stow away in the slopes on the grounds, that Gudrun knows his personality and he can't assume the part of a slave any longer, so they'll complete their arrangement the following day. In the first part of the day, Fjolnir is frantic with melancholy at the point when he tracks down Thurer's body without the heart, and Gudrun lets him know Amleth made it happen. Fjolnir chooses to begin killing captives to cause them to admit what they know. However, when he is about to kill Olga, Amleth uncovers himself to stop him. He's wearing his ruler neckband once more and, subsequent to utilizing his genuine name, he shows that he has Thurer's heart. Fjolnir sends his men after him. Furthermore, Amleth meets them in battle to give Olga time to get away, then he permits them to catch him. Thinking himself triumphant, Fjolnir takes Thurer's heart back. However, Amleth uncovers it in reality has a place with the canine. Irate, Fjolnir drapes Amleth in the outbuilding and pummels him to make he admits the area of Thurer's heart, yet Amleth won't tell Fjolnir requirements to leave for Thurer's burial service. However, vows to return later to complete things, and on out. One of the men drop Amleth's sword on the ground, believing it's futile in light of the fact that it can't be unsheathed. As before long as everybody's gone, a gathering of ravens appears with a hooded figure, and they free Amleth. The individuals of the ranch give Thurer a legitimate formal memorial service and Gunnar is pronounced the main successor to the privileged position. A while later, they return to the outbuilding to kill Amleth, yet when they arrive, he's now gone. In the meantime, Amleth ends up on a pony ridden by a Valkyrie that is taking him to Valhalla. However, abruptly he awakens and acknowledges it was Olga that saved him. The reality she returned for him should be an indication of destiny, motivating Amleth to take off with her. He has family in Orkney, so they could track down entry there. Following a day of pony riding, 2 or 3 tracks down a boat and is permitted on board. Amleth sees Olga has a scar on her neck that Fjolnir left there with his blade. What's more, chooses to kiss it for solace. This act provides him with a dream of the genealogical record once more. Because of this, Amleth learns Olga is pregnant with twins, and one of them will be the Lady Lord from the Seeress prediction. This ought to be uplifting news. However, Amleth fears that his kids won't ever be protected the length of Fjolnir lives, recalling that he was informed he would need to pick between generosity for his family or disdain for his foes. Amleth chooses to pick both, overlooking Olga's supplications. He gives her his ruler neckband so she can get her future and leaps off the boat. While Amleth swims back to the shore, Olga calls the breeze spirits to safeguard the boat's excursion. At the point when night falls, Amleth slips once again into the ranch and starts killing every one of the fighters, enjoying extra gradually completing Finner through what's left of his nose. In the wake of liberating every one of the ladies, Amleth enters. The fundamental house is gone after Gudrun, who is employing a blade Fjolnir left her for insurance. Be that as it may, she has no champion preparation, and it's extraordinarily simple for Amleth to kill her with a sword through the heart. At that point, Gunnar appears and hops on Amleth, has returned to wound him 2 or multiple times. However, Amleth shakes him off and rapidly kills him too. Fjolnir appears straight away. What's more, as he gets the collections of his family, he requests that Amleth meet him at the doors of misery, meaning the whole of the fountain of liquid magma Hekla, for a last legitimate duel. Draining intensely from the wound, Amleth watches the slaves torch the ranch prior to leaving for the spring of gushing lava. On his way up to the hole, Amleth tracks down the groups of Gudrun and Gunnar, so he gives them his approval before the long-last gathering with Fjolnir. The 2 men are remarkable heroes and the fight's pretty adjusted right away, yet Amleth is as of now harmed accordingly. It doesn't take long for Fjolnir to overwhelm him. In any case, Amleth tracks down strength in his outrage to rise once more and, subsequent to trading a couple of additional blows, the 2 men kill each other simultaneously. As he drops, Amleth has a dream of Olga with his twins before a Valkyrie seems to take his spirit through the doors of Valhalla. The end. If you like this story, please subscribe to the channel and like it to motivate me to bring you more stories like this.